today so we can round up. So we can round up what we started yesterday and then finish up with greed, and then also take a good example of what put a practical example of putting into practice what we have learned. So let me share my screen. So I think that we can all see my screen, right? Can we all see my screen? Okay. Okay, I think we're able to, go through we're able to go through the, refresher of
Press.
and then we looked at display property, sorry, with flex. We looked at flex direction, wrap, what else, and some other things. And then we're able to just on your own that you could. And then I think I gave another. I would have to rush through. Was confused because at the end of the day, I asked questions. Everybody was like, would be a bit faster. Not to understand, but so that we can get work done. So we're going to be looking at the other property. I believe that we have read through it, because if you have not read through it, it's going to look a bit somehow for you. So the other property, we use it to specify the order of the flex items. We already know what the flex items are. We know that I believe we already know what the flex container is, and then the flex items. We know I already said that the flex container is like the parent element that houses the flex items that each children. So this other property now I'm talking about specifies the order of the flex items. Specify the order of the flex items. So it's, for example, we have 1, 2, and 3. And I don't in on my browser here. Okay, on my browser here, I want a situation where 3 should appear first, or 2. Let me increase. Let me increase this stuff. Let's say, let me increase it to 5. Let me increase. So in this case, we have like 5 child flex items. So I could, you decide, this other property gives me the flex. Sorry, gives me the opportunity to um, make any flex item to appear in any order I like. So what do I mean by that? We know what order is. Simply, order means the hierarchy of how things should what appear. So for example, now I want um let's get back to our Visual Studio Code. Something. Please tell that person that is connected to my hotspot to disconnect. So for example, I would want my the number 5 to appear first. All I need to do is to go back to my Visual Studio Code. I could, for example, I could give each and every one of them a style, let's say a class name or ID, different ID, and then give it the order, and the style sheet. But I would love to do it here. So for example, I want 5 to appear first. Like I said, order is used to give each flex item. I want to rearrange it in my own way. I don't want it to appear as 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5. So I could use the style and then give it an order of, let's say, 1. I want this flex element to appear first. This is not supposed to be here. And let me just randomly give them. Okay, let me not do it randomly. I say style. I want this. Are you connected to my hotspot? Go and disconnect. Check if you are connected to my hotspot. Disconnect. So, for example, I want to give this one styling 2. Sorry, the order 2. And then this one, I'll give it order 3. Then this should be order 4. And then finally, order 5. So I want this style property just enables us to this other property enables us to just give our flex elements the particular order on how it should appear. Like its name, order simply means hierarchy, how we want it to appear. So you would see what will happen now in the browser on our page. So you can see that 5 it now appears first, 4, 3, 2, 1. So however I decide to do it is actually going to come out that same way. So the next property we are going to be looking at is the flex grow property. So it specifies how much an element will grow. Flex item will grow relative to the rest of the element. So for example, let's leave order here. I believe that we have read, sorry, I believe that we have read this. That's why I'm not going to spend too much time on each and every one of them. Let me check whether I'm still here. Still here. So we're going to be looking at the flex grow element. Let's go property rather. Then we'll be looking at 1. So for example, I want to give each and every one of these flex elements, let's say, different flex group property. Okay, let's say we want to work with 2 for this. And these, I'll give you the flex group property of however. So you can just continue on and on. I'm having an error here. Okay, yeah. I see. On and on. So this flex group property is just simply telling us how our flex items are going to grow with respect to others. For example, here I used 1, 2, and 1. Let me change this to 5 and save. My God, something is wrong somewhere. Okay, let me remove this order. So please a second. This must be old. Okay. Okay. I've made mistake. So sorry, I made a mistake. I'm trying to correct. Let me leave it at 3. So these other days can not affect what we're doing. Yeah. So this is what I was trying to explain. So this flex group property, as we can see that forget the order now. The ordering now is some sort of wrong and all that. But we can see that 3, which is 1, the first flex item grew 5 times. When you're considering others, the first one has a flex growth of 1, the other one has flex growth of 2. So you can see that this one is smaller than this, and then this is the biggest. So the flex growth property helps the flex items to grow relative to the rest of the items. So you can see that you can actually, for example, somebody asked the question yesterday, what if the content is bigger than others, blah blah blah. So this thing will also help you, to accommodate all that. So we'll move faster. Oh God, time is a burden. Time is a burden. So okay, somebody trying to ask a question.
Please, can you repeat the question?
Online class.
Somebody trying to ask a question.
Ma, can you please repeat this flex growth again?
Okay, let me remove this flex. But you perfectly understood flex order.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let me remove order. So I said the flex grow property helps flex items to grow. When you say flex grow, it talks about growth. Flex items to grow when in relation to other flex items. That I said. So I styled each and every one of the items, and I gave each flex item different flex grow number. For example, I just told the first flex item to grow by 1. the second one 2 and 5. So having done that, if you look at our browser, you can see that the first one it just grew by 1, the second one grew by 2, and then this last one, this 3 now, it grew by 5. So if we still increase that last one, let's say to a number like yeah, 3. If we increase it to something like 8, can we see also it has also increased? Then the second one we now increase it to, let's say, something like 3. It will grow with respect to the other. So that's what basically this flex grow property is. If you're with your system, you can just try it out, yourself. Oh my god, my data. Okay, yeah, 1 gig, 1 gig carrying. Okay, let's look at the next property. We have the flex shrink property. So the flex, I don't know why this flex is sounding pressed in my mouth. So the flex shrink property specifies how much the flex items will shrink relative to the others. Shrink, we want it to shrink.
I get 240. What I give you?
Shrink
I'm not
really.
15 naira. I think you get 15 naira.
Ah,
800.
is somebody trying to ask a question?
I think he's like disturbing us.
He's what?
He's talking to another person, not the. He's not. I don't
Okay,
know.
okay. All right, no problem. So for example, okay. Yeah. Okay. So I want to specify this flex shrink. Like I said, it's used to shrink elements with respect to others. So with respect to other flex elements. Okay, for example, we have to declare, let's say, make this thing to be up to 8, just to drive home my point. Okay. So the numbering, we'll just avoid the numbering, just change 1 to 8. And then let's give it a styling. This one I changed to 8. Let's see. 0. Okay. Can we see what happened? Can we see what happened? Although this is excessive because it's above. Let me remove some. Then, or let me just wrap. Should I wrap all of them? Let me wrap this parent. Okay. Okay. This wrapping now is making us it's removing the effect of what I want to do. So let me just ignore it now and reduce. Okay, let me leave it. So if you look at our browser, looking at our page, all we are doing, just ignore this excess, whatever that is going on. You can see what happened. I I gave only the number 8, the div with number 8, a flex shrink of 0. And you can see that it did shrink relatively to the other flex elements. So this flex shrink is used for somebody trying to talk. It specifies how the it specifies how the item will shrink relative to the rest of the items inside the container. So okay, you have to know this has much to do with space and all that. So we're moving over to the next one. I believe that I'm just going through all these things so that we can move to grid. I want us to start off grid before 9. Okay. Which other property did I tell you to look at? Text basis. Text basis. Oof. Which other property? Which other property?
Hello, sorry, please. Can we change the shrink to 1 so we can see more effects?
Okay, let's. If you see now, all of them. Once you know what shrinking does. Shrinking shrinks. So when you say 0, why I put on 0 is that so as to show you that it will not affect. So it show you that it did not. We put it on that only that number 8 was not affected, but I left on 0. So shrink is when you say grow is for growth. Shrink is to shrink. So I think we'll be moving to the others, basis, the flex shorthand, align self. You go home, you do it so that we have a lot to cover today, and I don't want us to spend so much of our time on this stuff. So I think we are going to be going back a bit. We are going to be making use of media queries. I think I explained the syntax. Okay. Sorry. I explained the syntax. So want to use since we have learned flex, we want to apply it to a real life scenario so that people can see how it's used in real life. So okay, for example, let's build for mobile first. Let's say navbar. Okay, so we're going to create a new div. This is like our parent container. Then we'll give it a class navbar. Then let's say we'll be needing like 5 other divs. Let's say we'll give it home, about, contact us, and then what else?
Services.
Oh my God. You said service is correct. Okay. Something is remaining. Donate. Yeah. I want to be putting what we have learned into
Login.
Yeah. I think this one is okay. This one is okay for now. Okay, you can see it down here. Okay. So I want to be using this flex box now to create for desktop first. Then we'll now use our media queries to work on it for mobile. So for desktop, we would first go to our style sheet, call our class navbar, sorry, and then we'll use display flex, sorry, display flex, uh, flex direction, flex direction. I want it to be row. Is it column or row? Is row. Okay, yes. And then I want justify content to be space between. Okay. Okay, it's coming up. And let's say I'll give our navbar a background color so we can see what's going on as everything is changing. Let's say dark red. Okay. I think I'll move this thing up so it will be on top of the page. But that's where our navbars normally are. Okay. Okay. Then I'll give our navbar a height. Let's say 100. I don't know 100 pixels will look like. Okay, 100 pixels is too much. Let me reduce it to 50. 50 is okay. Then I'll change our color, our text color. I could just use, okay, and text color. Sorry, color would be white something, white smoke. Okay. Okay, it's coming together. And okay, let's use the justify align items. Want to center it as well. I think one. Okay, yeah, it's coming together. Want to give it our EG, let's say padding, padding left and right. Okay, padding top and bottom 0, left and right 20 pixels. Okay, can we see our navbar? Let me give it a font size. Let's say 1.0 rem, and then let's say our font size, font family, font family. Okay. Okay, can we see our? Okay, we're still here, right? Okay. Can we see our navbar? Our navbar. Normally, if you check, if you think about how your navbars look, this is normally how it will appear on your desktop, right? Hello.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I want
We
to use
can
the
hear
media
you.
query. Okay. I want to use the media query to stack them on top of each other for our mobile. And we are going to be using this media query. Like I said, when you're using media queries, you don't need to start writing codes for different sheets on different sheets. So we could just come here. Since we have already built for desktop and we now want to build for mobile. Let's say phones normally are from max width 500 pixels. 500 pixels. We can take our styling from here. Okay. I'm having an error.
You didn't copy the navbar selector.
The navbar is not included though.
Oh, I see. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So, how am I still getting this right?
Ma, I have a question.
You
Yeah.
have to close that line 72 with another curly brace. Closing curly brace.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
So, please, I have a quick question.
All right.
Please, can you go back to our DSP? Yeah, when you were styling, that place you did, that's the class, that's .navbar. Why
Yes.
did you, when you were trying to like color the text, which is just color, why did you make use of that greater than then div? Like, why that particular command? Like, what does that particular command mean?
Okay, the greater than sign, right? Hello?
Yes,
greater
yes,
than-
with the div calling.
Okay. I think, have people done selectors? Hello?
Yes, I've done selectors.
Yeah, well.
Do you people treat child selectors?
Is it like ID, class?
No, I say child selectors.
No, but I think they told us to read about it.
Yeah.
So this is a child. So this is a child selector. When this greater than sign. For example, let's go back to our file. You can see in this navbar, this div, this navbar class is housing these divs, all these flex items. So navbar now is like the parent, and all these flex items here are all of them are these children. So, for example, instead of me giving each and every one of them a class name or an ID, any of them an ID, I could just use the parent the parent element
to style everything.
to find the child. Look at here. I use the parent, this .navbar, which is the class, to get to the child. And remember, this div is the child of, you can see whenever I hover around it, it's showing
This
me
div
where
class
it's
service.
Yeah. I don't know whether you get what I'm saying.
Ma, you said it's showing what?
whenever I hover around, you can see I used it over more than I use it in over 2 places. I use it in parent, I use it in flex container, and I use it also in navbar. So this greater than sign is representing I'm selecting a child element. This navbar this navbar is the parent, and then I'm selecting the div that is in the navbar. I'm selecting every div that is in the navbar. For example, if I had given any of these divs, let's say a class or an ID, I could still come here, use this child selector and select that particular ID or select that particular class. So, but in this case, I just used the class and then an element. So it could work with either class or with an element. I don't know whether it's clear.
Yes.
Maybe on your own, you could just go and read. There are different types of selectors, and it has to do with specificity, what we call specificity in CSS. So we have selectors, selectors we already know now, the ID and class, and then using the element. So we have descendant, we have child, we have attribute, adjacent siblings. There are a lot of them. These are things you should not cram. You should just know them, and then you are good to go. So having answered that, let's get back to what we are doing. So we have built for desktop. Sorry. We have built for desktop. So we want to build for mobile. But in mobile, we don't want it to be in a row. We want it to be in a column. Okay. Once we save it, somebody's background is noise, and the person's please, I don't know whose background is noisy, and you're muted. So having changed our flex direction to column, I will not be using justify content. Who is that? Oh, I want my align items to be space. This no.
Space between.
No. No. Let me see. Some things are why they not showing. Okay, some things went up. What was the first thing we wrote? Home, about, contact us, services. Okay, the height. You can see now that height. Some things are no longer showing, so we have to increase the height to accommodate everything to show. So this is just an example of what we could work on. Okay, everything is now showing. So at 500 pixel and below, this is how it's going to appear. Then some other things we are going to correct. No, it should still be centered. I should remove this. It's going to scatter everything. It's still the same. Okay, let's give this the padding. I don't want padding left and right, so I'll leave it at 0. Then here should be, let's say 8.
Padding top 10 pixels.
Yeah, 8 pixels, top and bottom. Okay, you can see now it has also affected the other. 8 is much. Let me work with 5. I would have just loved to just give maybe only top. Let me reduce it again. to 4. Then let's increase this height to probably 120 to accommodate anything. Yes, 120 is okay. So we can see how it appeared here. So once it exceeds 500 pixels, it goes back to the normal, the code that we what we built for desktop. But once it goes below, if it reaches 500 and below, 500 pixels and below, we find out that it goes, it takes here, it takes what we did in the media query. So media query, like I said, is for our CSS code. And then I said at media is used to specify the type of device, whether it's screen, print. I said that yesterday. And is for adding our conditionals. Like here, the condition was at maximum width of 500 pixels. That is 500 pixels and below. So we now, change some things here to actually match. Let me reduce the font size. It can be the same. Let's work with something like 0.7. Yeah, should be much smaller. Okay, so you can see now how everything is looking. When you're building, when for example now, because you're going to be building a full page as your assignment, so that's why it's important to take note of all these things. When you're building your nav bar, you first build your normal nav bar, and then you now have to build for mobile first. Then there's the JavaScript aspect of it, where you attach your hamburger, then click, disappear, the display will be none, and then when you click it, close and open and all those things. But this is basically what would appear, how it will appear for your mobile design. So this is it. One is 500 pixels and above. So we can also decide how it will look for it will look on, let's say, tablet tablet mean width of, let's say, 800 pixels and above. We do anything much. Let's just play around with it a bit before 9. By 9 o'clock on the dot, we'll start with CSS grid. Initially when I learned with float, but because of time, I think I've taught float, but you could just look at it by yourself and learn all those stuff there. So okay, we're looking at minimum width. So when it gets 800 pixels, want it to be row. Let's give it a different background color. Let's say dark green. So I will know it has gotten to that width. And then the height, it will not still be, it will be 50 pixels. Sorry. I want justified content to be spaced between, or space evenly. Let's use space evenly here. And then the align items to be centered. And then our padding, we don't need top bottom padding, so give it 0. And initially, what did I give for? I gave 20. So here I'll give, like, let's see, 13 pixels. I think that's all. Then the font size will be 0.85. Yeah. So let's say it's gonna be Okay, can we see how everything has changed at 800 pixels? Can somebody answer this question? Why did it remain green, and why will it continue to remain green till I reach the end?
But it sets it at
Because
minimum.
the maximum does not have any limits. It's just minimum.
Good, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That's the nice answer. So you know that the code I wrote here initially is for desktop. It's for desktop, but let's still play around with it here. So let's play around with it here. Let's say for desktop, let's say it starts counting from 992 pixels. Some are over. It's supposed to be 1024, but let me leave it at 992 pixels so that we can see the changes that would occur. It will be virtually almost the same thing. Dark green. So let me use dark purple so we can see. Okay, there's nothing now. Let me dark orange. Okay, okay. It will be 0.9. That is that 1.0. And then here the padding will be, let's see, 24. We don't need this padding. Do we even really need it? Don't need it. Left direction. Okay. Okay. So let's look for where 992 started. Okay, let's start from the beginning and look how everything changes. Just observe. Let me change this thing to 600. Let me change the max width here to be 600. Okay. So if I start to increase, let's get back from 600 pixels and below, it will stack like this, appear like this. And then as we increase above 600 pixels, something. Okay, so you can see that between these 600 pixels and 800, you can see that there's something happened here. Something happened there. Who can tell me what's going on? You know, I gave the for mobile the max to be 600 pixels. So from here, you can see that it's still appearing. It's still appearing this way. Who can explain to me what happens between the 600 and 800 pixels before we come over here to this mean width? And then down to here. Who can explain to me what's happening? Why? You know that initially I gave the max width to be 600 pixels, and then I also worked for the screen of minimum width 800 pixels. So between 600 pixels and 800 pixels, that is from 601 to 799. So it's displaying now. Who can explain to me what's going on? I want somebody to answer quickly, please, please, please. We're heading over to grid now, please. Somebody should just try.
I think the gap there, the 200 gap there is not, you do not specify the value there. That's why. So
But the styling is showing. Yeah. The styling is showing. So where is that styling coming from?
I think it takes it from the previous or the default styling.
Beautiful. Yes, that's what I wanted to hear. So because between 601 to 799 wasn't specified, it just generally went back to the what is here. from here to here and just took all this styling and displayed it. So if I still come here and say from 601, if I change this to 601, it will now there will no longer be any space for that. So I'm happy that somebody answered it and somebody understood, thought about it and was answered so well. Answered so well. I'm so
I have a
happy.
question, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I don't know. Is there a way we can arrange these nav bars like home, about, contact? Because in some websites it does not cut across the the screen like this. It's always at one side of the screen.
Okay,
But
I know
still
what you
yes.
yeah, okay. Let's work on that now. It's going to take some time, sha, but let's work on that. So let's create another div. If div will collect, let's say h3. This will be our logo. Amara. Okay. So let me go to the media query and make some changes. So it's going to be space between. Okay. I think we'll just remove donate for now. Yeah, what else? Blah blah blah. Just for content center. Blah, blah. So line center, yes. And display flex. I know what's going on.
Like the justified content can go to the end.
The justified content can go to the end. What's that?
Like justified content end. Then
Just
align item end.
no. Let's see now. Let's see. There's something I'm trying to remember now. Supposed to be end. If you did that, if you did this way, look at what would have. Nah. And work. Has more to do with my arrangement here than the other way. Because I'm trying to remember something. He's treating this logo now as one of the flex items. But there's supposed to be some sort of okay, wait. Yeah, I remembered.
What if you call the ID separately in the styling?
Richard?
I said, what if you call the ID separately in the styling?
Yeah, that's what I
That's
want to do. That's what
exactly,
I'm supposed to
exactly.
do. Um, yeah. This was justify content. Now be flex start.
I think the logo should be ash logo since it's an ID, not a class.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, thank you. Yes. So something else, something is missing. Okay, I've been able to this. Okay, yeah. Space around. Hmm, No, no. I've hit some. I'll let's. I don't know if somebody has an idea, but
Hello,
I'm
What
I
trying to
think
are
remember
what are
stuff.
you trying to do?
I
Like,
have an idea.
okay.
I have an
Okay, yeah,
idea.
give me your idea.
Okay, why not next the nav bar now will be the general div, then the next two other div, one div for the logo and one div for other divs like the home and contact and every other one will be on a separate div.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. 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 Yeah. Perfect. Okay. We have to twitch this thing a bit now. So good. Let me change it to let's be an idea. So, let me leave it as a class. And then press direction rule. Then specify content will be space. Is it space between or space around? Space. Let's say space around. Okay. Let me use space between. Ah.
I remember you still style the nav bar with flex and other properties. Maybe that is the problem.
Okay, just let me look what I've done so far. Okay, this logo, all these things will not be necessary. So, okay. No. Okay, this is okay. Flex direction. Okay. Yeah. Let me remove this. Let me remove this. Then let's see. What I'm trying to do is to and what I'm trying to do is to get this item spaced out. Okay. Sorry. I
You
remember.
imagine now.
Nah. I'll use my child selector. Where the padding should be, not on the parent. Okay. I think that's what somebody was trying to explain.
Yeah, this is
So this is it. But just that you will now correct your own to this space that we have by the left and right is due to this is due to some of all these flex, all this stuff we're writing here. Some of them are not. Let me even remove. Um, so you could just correct it. If I use flex start now, let me see what it done to. Then I give it an iPad. So you could just correct it. I don't want to still continue going back and forth. So you could use go back, use your flex space between. Let me try space between. I think space between would be give it better. Let's see. Something like this, right?
exactly.
Yeah. So this is it. So let's head
Please,
over
can I
to
see your
the
HTML code?
okay. So I've been able to explain media queries. They are not difficult, something that you can just easily. I want to rush through grid so that we can. I don't want us to stay late,
All right,
so
thank you.
late. Yeah, I don't want us to stay late today. Grid, CSS grid. So grid is one of is another display property for responsive design, right? Is another uh, give me a second. So CSS grid is one of the display properties, and CS grid layout is simply rows and columns, just like Flex for rows and columns. So it makes it easier for us to be able to design our web pages. So I'll be going back to this same example, or should I create another div down here? So I will leave it so that in case maybe someone wants to still learn with it. Just like flex, we'll be needing our parent element, and we'll also be needing our children. Let's say it's good. So this will be our grid container. And then each and every one of them will now be our grid items. Okay, so you can connect your own to different numbering. Okay, you can see our numbering here. So just particularly like what we did initially, we want to go and style it using the display grid. So for now, we are leaving media queries. So to get our grid container, and we use the display grid. So once we use the display grid, we would see that let me look. Okay, we have to style this thing first. Look good. So we found out that when we use the display grid alone, it's not a standalone something. So but let me just go ahead and start the grid element. So grid items rather, so that it's not a challenge to us to see it. I see item and items. Okay, items. Okay. I want to give it a background color. Background color. Come on, come off. Another one that. Alright. Let's say blue. And let's say um okay, color. We need color. Let's check it out. Oh no, I need to scroll down. Okay. That's fine. One size. Background color. Okay, it's fine. Let's just do some other things. Let's give our grid item font size of, let's say, 1.2. So we can see that once we use the display grid for the grid container, it's not a standalone, right? Okay, it's not a standalone. So I said, writing in the chat at this time, I don't have time to be going there. That's why I prefer people just you unmute yourself and talk. It's helping me better. If you see, I might see it later on. So, like I was explaining, a grid layout must have a parent element with the display property set to grid or inline grid. Then the LHI children element will become grid items automatically. So we want to give the grid template columns automatic. What am I doing? Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I'm done. So yeah, grid container and the grid items. Yeah. The grid items I gave the background color. Okay, the border is needed. Oh, 1.7. items. Correct. Grid items, yes. Then I've given it, so I know. Let me change this. Israel. 35 pictures. And what else? And that text. This and that. This was this. Hey, now I see my mistake. God. People, if I was here coding in one of the media queries. Ah, allow. That's why it's good, for people to be following me. So when I'm a human being, so that So I've been able to use. Hello,
Grid
you're saying
container
something?
has not been called.
Click on container, there's no dots.
You said?
Right.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So let's go back to our browser. Something is still off. Container. Okay. Oof. Okay. Something is off, still off somewhere.
I think the grid template columns you used auto. I don't know if that is the problem.
Sorry. I should have specified
Yeah,
3 times.
the sizes maybe.
I'm supposed to have said that's my mistake. Yeah. Thank you. It work now.
Sorry,
Yeah.
what does auto
So,
for grid templates?
okay. Don't worry, we are coming to that. Let's gradually climb. We're coming to that. Yeah. So
I
let me
wanted to
come.
ask the auto you are using and the one FR are they the same?
Don't worry, we're coming to that. I'll come to that. This is just the first example, just like I did initially. So we're
All right.
coming to that. Yeah, we're coming to that. So this is how grid is being used. There's the parent element. Oh my god, 924. And then these are the grid items. These are the grid items. And then I started using display grid. And then I gave the grid template columns to be auto. So someone would you explain all these things gradually? Shit. So like I said, looking at our HTML index.html, we have the parent container. We have children item, that is the grid items. So in grid, let's go back to our browser. In grid, we have what we call the grid columns. Here, this is column, this is a column, this is another column, and this is another column. So here we have 3 columns. You can see that, right? And then here too, we have what we call rows, the grid rows. We have row 1, we have row 2, and we have what? Row 3. Yeah. So I'll be teaching another thing. We have the column gaps and we have the row gaps. Here, here. These are what we call the column gaps. Here we have 2 column gaps here, and then we also have 2 row gaps here. Okay, yeah. So we can adjust these gaps, whether be it column or row, or yes, column, either the column or row. So let's,
Please,
yeah.
your question is showing like 15 pixels.
Mama, you will have like up to 1,000 copies here.
I have what?
Up to like
Your
30
question is showing like
copies.
57 on my side.
I'll be 80.
No, I didn't get you.
Trying to see
You're
your
saying your
cursor is duplicating itself on your screen.
My question is duplicating itself.
Your
Your
cursor,
mouse
your
is
cursor.
rotating.
That's the pointer or whatsoever.
I thought
Are
it
you
was the one
serious?
from Google.
Yes, sir.
Are you
Very
serious?
serious.
I'm I'm not seeing. I'm not.
It's
It's
okay now.
105 now.
Like right now, it's even breaks.
It's a connection, I guess. It's okay.
It's connection.
No,
Is it still happening?
no.
Is it still happening? Let me close my browser and then.
3.
No,
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 it's
no.
okay now.
It's better
It's
now.
okay now.
Okay,
It's
sorry.
okay.
Yeah, so I was explaining that what we have columns in grid. We have, like I said, in grid, normally in the web layout is divided into rows and columns. And I was explaining that here now we have three columns: column 1, column 2, and column 3. And then we have 3 rows: row 1, row 2, and then row 3. And then I was also explaining that we have what we call the row gaps and the column gaps. This is a column gap.
Ma,
This is a column gap.
please,
Yeah.
can you restart the browser? It has started again.
It has started again.
Yes.
Okay. It seems that I will not move my mouse, my cursor, so that it will not happen again. But like I was explaining, that we have in what we just did now, this blue div container, we have 3 columns here: column 1, column 2, and column 3, and we have 3 rows. And then we have, please, whoever that is in noisy environment, please just put off your mic so that it won't be affecting what we are doing here. So we have 2 column gaps, and then we also have 2 row gaps here. Look at where the row gap here is. Here. I don't want to push my mouse so much. And then here. These are the 2 row gaps. And then these are the 2 column gaps. So that was what I was trying to explain when the cursor started duplicating itself. So let's put into practice what we have learned. These column gaps. So we want to give our grid container column gap of, let's say, 30. Okay, can we see this spacing now that happened? Can we see this spacing that happened? If we give
Yeah.
it row gap, excuse me, something didn't show. Yeah, it's okay, that's come up. So can we see what happened? Hello?
Yes, we can
Yeah,
see it.
yeah, we can see.
Yeah. Okay. So this is what we call the row gaps and the column gaps. Here we can see that we have 2 column gaps and 2 row gaps, and we have 3 columns and then 3 rows. So some of all these things will come together as we move on. You don't really have to understand everything at the same time. So we have a property that caters for both the row gap and column gap. So it is the gap property. Instead of writing column and then row gap again, we just use the gap property to take care of both the column and the row gap. So we'll take care of the column. Let's say the column we want it to be about 50 pixels, then the row gap would be like 30 pixels. Yeah, 30 pixels. Okay. Okay. You can see what happened, right? We can see what happened, right? Yeah. If you don't answer for you. It's important.
Yeah, you can see it.
It's important for you to answer, so I'll know when my connection has gone off. So we'll move to the next property, grid lines. So now these grid lines are between our columns. So here there's a line here. I don't want to move. If I move my mouse now, it will be duplicating the cursor. So there's a line here. There's also another line here. There's another line here. Don't worry, even if the cursor is duplicating itself, there's another line here. So these are what we call the row where we have the column gaps, we have column lines there. Where we have the row gaps, we have row lines here. There. So for the column here now, for the column lines, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have 4 column lines. And then for the rows, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4. So totally we have 4 column lines. We have 4 column lines and 4 row lines. I believe it's clear. If you don't answer, I'll answer for you. All right.
I'm not following.
We
My
can see the
network
lines you are
is
pointing
my
to, but we are following by it.
You are followed by what?
But I think the
See the
so I
4
think
lines
the
and
trick I think
I,
the
I
trick to this is wherever they have gaps, there's only a line. In every gap, there's a line.
yes, but you have to look at it. If you wherever there are gaps, there are lines. But we'll start from it covers all the corners. Do you understand? Just like we have now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4. We have 3 columns, but we have 4 column lines. Do you understand?
I'm not seeing any shade.
Exactly.
Yes, I think what she's trying to explain is like you drawing a table in, let's use Microsoft Excel. So if you have
Exactly.
1, 2, 3, 4, and you use all border, the lines are the edges, both on the top and the bottom and the right and left side. If you count it 1, 2, 3, 4 from the left, then from the top, the line is not really showing here. Like next to the div before this grid template, there's a line there. We can see another one in the gutter. The second one follows and the last one. So I think
Okay.
that's what she's trying to explain there. I don't know, maybe you understand.
Did you understand? Did you understand that?
No. And I see
Okay.
there's no.
Okay. if I move my cursor now, you will tell me that it's 105. So let me go to, let me just go to somewhere and then. Okay, can we see this Excel table here? We can see it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You can see now there are how many columns? There's column 1 that has the numbering, then column A, column B, column C, column D, and E, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you get me? There are
Yes, ma'am.
6 columns. Okay, yeah. But if I want to count the column lines, let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, you don't understand. Same for row. There are about 17 rows here. But if I want to count the row lines, I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So that's the same thing. If I move, maybe if I move on now on this place, it will move. So when you talk about column lines, there's a line here, 1. There's a line, forget this gap that is here, 2. There's a line here, 3. And then there's a last line here, 4. For row, we have
Okay.
1, we have 2, we have 3, and then we have 4. Forget the gaps. If I remove the gap, maybe it's the gaps that is confusing us. So let me remove the gap so that we can see understand what I'm saying. So this is what I mean. So it's when I put maybe because I put that gap now, everybody's confused. So I believe that one is clear, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. So why do we need this? Why do we need these grid lines? Excuse me. So this grid line just enable us to do some funny things, some very funny things. Okay, let's do some funny things. Okay, for example, this grid item, let me change it to grid item 1. Let's say grid item 2. We'll just use 2 for example. So now it don't scatter, because of the CSS. Now everything has gone out. So let me give it another class, grade 1. Okay, item 1. Like I said, an element can have more than one class. So this one will be item 2. Let me change this one to 5. Change this one to 4. But the explanation can come through. So let me remove the gap for now. And I want to use these grid lines now to explain something. So I would want this 5 to start at column 1, and when I say column, is it column? Is column the right nomenclature? Yeah. Column. I want this grid. Yeah, I'm right. I want this 5 that is first, the first number now, to cover, start at 1 and enter, let's say 2. Let's be more practical about this thing, so that we don't speak English that will confuse us. So let's give it an item 1. and let's say we want this grid column start.
Ma, we're not saying what you are doing. I think you should close the tab by the right.
We are seeing it,
The,
oh, we are seeing it.
I'm not seeing, no.
Wear your glasses.
Okay. Grid. I don't know. I've not heard any female's voice here. I don't know. I just feel I don't know. Are people not following or what? Or people
We're
are just
following,
not-
man.
Yes, we
On a
all
low.
of them are just stingy with their
We
voice.
are following, oh, we are following. The guys are
They
always
are just stingy with
dominating.
their
But we
voice.
cool.
No,
We don't
yeah,
have anything to say.
you don't have anything to say. Please have something to say or have questions to ask.
No problem.
Females are you done now? They are supporting you that.
Women supporting women.
They play.
No, now people should have something to say, have questions to ask. So I'm like, you are here with me.
So it's
So
not yet time for them
it's not when will it be time for them?
to gossip.
You're not serious.
18 minutes more.
18 minutes more. You're giving me, you're reminding me, Abby.
Wait, is it possible to continue the class then ask questions at the end? So won't be
You
late
said?
Is it not better if we
Okay.
continue the
Yeah.
questions?
Yeah,
So
let's
won't be late.
continue. Let's continue. So, like I said, we wanted, I said these grid lines now, I explained these grid lines, grid line 1, 2, and 3. So I wanted these 5 to cover from line 1 to line 3. If we check our browser, can we see that it covered line 1? This is line 1, this is line 2, and then this is line 3. So we wanted 5 to stretch through line 1 to line 3. So this is what this grid line is for. So there are 4 lines here. So I told it to cover 3, and it covered 3. So these are what column distance are for. So we have for row. Let's take an example, one more example for row. Like I said, somebody has reminded me. So user will not exceed. So for example, for row now we have row 1, line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, and line 5. Because of this adjustment here, we now have 5 for the first column. We have 5 rows. So we want one to stretch. Let's do one to stretch. How will I even know which one, sir? To be the third one, the first one. Or let me use 4. Let me use that for item 2.
Yes, ma'am. I don't know if I'm right. This
Yeah.
grid is similar to tables.
Yeah,
Table
it's
row.
similar to
Table row,
it's-
column span, and row span like that. I don't know.
yeah, it's similar. Before we had this flex properties and grid introduced, people were actually using tables and floats for responsibilities, yes, initially. So yes, you're right.
All right.
It has scatter, but let me not use this for. Or let me remove this one so that we can see what's happening. Okay, can we see what happened? Can we see what happened? Can we see what happened?
Yes,
It took
yes.
line 1, line 2, and line 3. So this is what these lines are for. Do you understand? So you can, because of time now, you can play with it, play with it, play with it, play with it, play with it. There's something I'm missing out. I think I'm missing out. I have to still explain. I think there's something I'm missing out. something like this. Grid auto columns. Oh God, there are so many things, so many things. Well, anyway, I stop. Anything I miss, try and read. Students.
Ma, you could also use grid area, right?
Yeah, you can use grid area. I wanted to talk about it, but I cannot. I want to go to justify content, all those things. Grid template columns and the rest. So what we're looking at now is the grid because of time. Grid, anything I miss, grid, there are a lot of resources. Grid template columns, we use it to define the number of columns in your grid layout and can define the width of each column. Do you understand? Just like we have 3 columns here. We use these grid template columns. There is that grid template columns. We have already used it. We use it to define the number of columns in our the grid layout and then the width of each column. So each and you can see each value here is separated by a comma. Sorry, not a comma, space. On this thing, they are just 3. They are just 3. So you can see that each and every one of them will be 3. So let's use 2. Auto. Let's say I to look. And then let's remove this item to yeah, item 2. Sorry, didn't save. Okay, you can see now that we use this thing now to specify our grid template column, to specify the number of columns that we want. We can also use to specify the width. So why somebody asked about this auto, what this auto simply means is just automatically based on space where they are available, based on space, whatever that is available, automatically just divide it into 2, just make it 2. So auto is just automatically based on waiting there what's available.
Sorry to interrupt you. I wanted to ask, like I was the one that asked about the auto, Like there is this other property, 1FR. So I was like, is it the same thing with auto? That's what I asked.
Don't just focus on this auto now first. We are moving. They are coming.
Okay.
They are coming
Okay.
there. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So auto just takes automatically. I said there's no use of putting comma. For example, if you wanted to make it to be 4, you can see it still does the same thing. So so you could just make them do it like how you want it to be. So I can say we can also use it for width. So instead of using these autos that will just make it look shabby, and we can just give it its own width. Let's say 60 and then 50. Okay, can you see how everything is now looking? We used width here, we did not use automatic. So that's just it. So it's the same thing for our rows. We walk fast. So our rows, let's see what will happen for our rows. Okay. We don't want columns again. Do you get? We changed it to rows. So instead of 1, 2, 3, first. So this grid is used to for the height of our rows.
One of those rows is actually bigger than others.
Yeah, because I specified 30, I specified 40, I specified 60, then 50, then the other ones now there's nothing for others. So you just use the default measurements. So if I just change it to auto, everything would be Sorry. Everything will be the same. So it's just the opposite of what, excuse me, it's just the opposite of what grid template columns is doing. So we can specify for columns, then let's specify for rows. Why is this not completing by itself? The system tired.
Even the system is tired.
Eh,
It's almost
Yes,
10.
yeah,
he
I'm
said
not
it's
going, I'm not going to go more than 10. Whenever we stop, we're gonna read.
Please, ma, continue.
So,
Don't mind. Please, ma.
so ah, okay, see what happened. It's not looking funny. So let's go. The justify content property. Justify content property. Let me move this through. So justify content property is used to align the whole grid inside the container. So just like we had justify content in Flex, it's almost the same thing. Almost the same thing. It's almost it's just like this one is for grid and this one is for help me, Lord. Okay, so let's move ahead. Let's move ahead. So want to use the justify content property?
Sorry, ma, please.
Yeah, please ask so. So I have
Please, I want
decided
to,
to
I
go
want
down.
to ask, sorry.
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
now I think I'm confused between the difference between grid column and then grid template column. I think it's confusing, a bit confusing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was I was explaining the grid template column is to specify the number of columns that we want. Just like here, you can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 columns, and here we have 4 different values for our columns. If I should remove this auto here, it will become 3. It will become 3. We will now have 3 columns, and then to now work with the width. If I use auto, it just automatically share it based on how my screen is. But here I gave 30, 40, 60 pixels, for 30, 40, 60 pixels. So it just takes the 3 width I gave there. So it's used to specify the number of columns, and then the number of the width of the columns. So now, just like the grid template columns, we use the grid template rows. Where is that one? Yeah, to specify the number of, we already have 3 columns. So it's, let's see this thing now. So the grid, just give me a second.
It's just like the opposite of what you just said
Yes,
now.
exactly. So we use the rows is used to define the height. It's specifically for the height of each row, so that you will not get confused. Okay. I don't know if you get it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I
if there's
understand a
also
bit, Sha.
a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, look, okay, just watch. Did you understand the columns, grid template columns?
Yes, yes.
Perfect.
Well, not
So now,
okay. I understand the grid template columns as a whole, but
yes, I said the columns is for the width, specifying the width
yes,
and the number of columns. Then for rows, we use it for the
for the
height.
height.
Yes,
Okay.
the height of our rows, because automatically when you draw your okay, let me give an example. Let's say 80 pixels and then 200 pixels. So this one will be so obvious, so that you catch it now. Okay, this last one is default. So Let's see. Let's give it 400. Okay, look here now. I've given our rows to be 80, 200, and 400. So the first one is 80 pixels, it's for the height. The second one is 200, then the last one is 400. So can you now see the difference?
Yes, I can now. Yeah, understand. So, but I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I
so
have
it's
one more
just clear.
question.
Yeah, go
Sorry.
ahead.
So in this one, you use grid template column. I think the one we did previously used just grid column. Like you omitted the templates. I don't know. So is there any difference between? I'm sure there's a difference between the both of them.
No, I can't. I don't think I remember. I didn't. What I used
I think
was.
maybe she misplaced it for grid column start or grid column, and I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe I
Grid
misplaced
column
it.
start is different. You know, grid column start is for the lines, like I explained. It's used to, it's for lines. It's for lines. Maybe after you could. Now we are behind time. Maybe after, if you're available, I can go through that again. So let's just look at this. Yeah. Let's just look at this. I'm happy that you asked. Yeah. So we can use space evenly. Just play around with it. You know. Let me move this side. I don't. Can we see what happened? It's spaced evenly. So you check, use space around, space evenly, space between, center, start, end. So, okay, yeah, do it. So you understand. Then we have align item, align content. It's just like the same way we are using it. Wait. You know, for justify content has to do it. There's a rule I don't have to forget. It's just to align the whole grid inside the container. So it's for alignment. So play around with it. There's a rule that I missed out. The grid's total width has to be less than the container's width for the justify content property to have an effect. So the English is plain. Oh, time. Then for align content, let's change this to align content. Okay. Supposed to give this in the head. So you can see that one is vertically justify content and one is horizontally. So these things now you play because it's almost time. We have 1 more minute, 1 more minute, 1 more minute.
But please, can you come again in what you just said?
Okay, I said, I don't worry, I'm going to take questions. What did I even say, Seth? What do you want me to come again with?
About this one you just did, this your last task, the height and
What the
align.
justify content?
Justify content. Okay, justify content. Justify
So
content.
you after making use of the height, you now
Okay,
begin
I
to
don't, you need, you know that alignment has to do with, whenever you say align, majorly in all these flex and grid, it has to do with, horizontally is from, vertical has to do with north south, right? So it has to do with north south, like the height. Do you understand? When you say north side, when you say north south is height. When you say east west is width. So, and I was explaining, I said that the rule is that the grid container has to be, the width should be, the items, the width should be less than the container for it to work. So justify content, since it has to do with width, we don't need this height. So what we'll just do is to justify the content. And we save. You can see that now everything is justified to the center. Evenly. Sorry, the space evenly, sorry. Everything spaced out evenly. We can change it to center. Everything will just come to the center. Has nothing to do with. So you can see that everything is centered on the east-west direction. That is on the horizontal direction. But for aligning, when you're aligning content, you have to give height, because like I said, alignment has to do with north, south, north, south, north, south. Good. Good. So 400 pixels. Then if we space evenly, yeah, you see what happens, see what happens, see what happens, because it just has to do it. Oh my God, even myself, space even, yeah,
But
yeah.
you said height has to do with alignment, but you did not include alignment there. You still have justified
Is it
content,
still
which has to
justified?
do with yes.
Sorry. I'm sorry. That's why it was not giving me what I wanted. Yes. So this is what it to look. Yeah, sorry. This is what it's supposed to look like. I made the mistake. So the class now, because of time, I cannot continue. But I would answer, I'll take questions now, and then the resources choke. I'll take questions now then. Sorry. The resources that people can use. I don't know, have people heard of this? There are a lot of resources. I know, so we're all using GitHub, right? People have heard of the student pack, developer pack.
No,
Yes.
Yes.
No.
No, ma.
I've not heard you.
You are missing, you are missing. Okay, just after the call, just go type on Google student developer pack, register. You just need your school ID. Even if you're not in school, look for your junior sibling or sister, anybody, or if you're in school, good for you. Anybody, friend, get the person's ID, snap it, scan it. They'll verify it in less than 1 week. Let me tell you, on the student developer pack, you have screen bar for 1 month free. You have educative for I think about 6 months. Front end mentors, one of the best front end resource, or is it product or whatever, because most of their developers are working in they are working in big places, so it's like they are teaching you from their world of experiences. So there are a lot of one password, there are a lot of things you will gain there. Even Namecheap, you have 1 year hosting, about so many hosting sites for free for 1 year, because you're a student, whether you're working or you're not working. You have siblings that may not even understand what they are, and it's for 6. It's renewable. Some of them are renewable, but some you just use them for one time or for maybe for 6 months, and then that's just it. So these are some I just remember that. Say, let me. If you have not, you just go over it. There's YouTube. Just look at it, so we don't waste our time. And then another thing. So yeah. So for where we are done, we are done for today because I will take questions. Then this somebody asked me about that one FR, and I'll explain what it means. So let's ask your questions now. Then now, or should I explain? Just ask your questions. Ask your questions now. Connected to my hotspot. Okay. Questions? No questions.
Sorry,
My
sorry,
question.
sorry. The student, the developers part we're talking about, the student developer part, did you say it's on GitHub?
As a GitHub user and as a student, you are entitled to it.
So we can get it from GitHub.
Yes,
We can
from
get the
GitHub.
site from GitHub.
Yes, from
Okay.
GitHub. The package is from GitHub.
Okay, thank you. Because I just went there and I'm seeing different names and different groups.
Just what you just need to go to Google, search GitHub student developers Spark. I don't know how the arrangement of the nomenclature is. Either the GitHub student developer pack, something like that. Either something arrangement like that, and then you would access, register, and then before you start any course, so make sure you are ready. Some of them are just one-time offer. Don't just lose on it. If you lose it, you have lost it. So make sure you are ready. Many it's very rich, very, 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 very rich. There's even saw those that are still in school. You could even apply for the GitHub Campus Expert. Is it I don't even remember. The campus expert. You'll be in charge of your school for GitHub and so many things. Yeah, even the octanship. GitHub is now providing connecting organizations to students to be able to intern. There's so much. Don't just learn. Like open your eye and know what's on ground. So now let me take questions.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, so we can go.
Hello, ma. My
Yeah.
question is not actually related to what you taught today. It's just something I've been wondering from your VS Code. I found out that the HTML file you created has a kind of logo, or should I say favy icon beside it. I don't know how I can do that. That icon there. I don't know if there's a way I can do that on mine.
Your own is updated, right? To the
Yeah, I just updated it yesterday during our class yesterday night.
If I tell you that I remember how I did these things, I don't remember. But I know it's something. It has to do with set. I don't even remember. I don't remember. Some of this, you just learn it and you do it. Forget about it.
Maybe it's depending on the extension you downloaded. Maybe it's depending on the extension you downloaded.
Probably. But the extensions that are here are where are they? Okay. I have about 45. Just forget about it.
It's how come yours is on the right hand side.
It's still settings now.
Wow.
Shit. So I don't even remember a particular. Maybe it's file icons. Maybe you could check out file I. Let me check. To be an icon something. Maybe it's file icons or VS Code icons. Okay, VS Code icons. Check VS Code icons. Probably it is.
Yeah, yes, it's VS Code icons. VS Code icons.
Yeah, you see, that girl that answered smartly. You see why it's good for everybody to talk.
Yeah, the package.
Eh. So any more questions? Any other thing? Go and read. There's W3 schools, there is Geek for Geeks, there's YouTube. Ha! Just take out your time. Introduction to CSS Grid. Every single thing. You have it. So any more questions before we call it a day?
Please, can we get the slides? I don't know. I haven't seen it yet on Discord.
Yeah, I forgot it. Sincerely, I forgot it. So
Okay,
we
thank
get
you.
it. So that person haven't asked her about 1FR. 1FR represents one fraction. 1FR, one fraction. So it's something that you should also read. Just go and read about it. We already time. I said I will not go back beyond 10, and this is already 10:13. So nobody's asking any question. I believe that everything is smooth, and it's a good thing.
Hello, I have a
Yeah,
question, please.
yeah, I
Yeah,
asked.
this grid and I understand that part of Flex, especially for responsiveness. The grid itself, I know it was for responsiveness too, but breaking down columns and row, specifying shapes or sorry, sizes, width and height. What are the examples of real life situations that want developer use them? Like example.
Is it grid? This is grid and flex.
Yes.
Okay, like I was okay. For example, now look at this my site. Don't worry, by the time I give you assignments, you see a real life application. These three reviews, for example, it could be cats. Normally, what we call them are cats. Cats. Speak React language now. These are cats. 3 cats. So now, for example, these cats now, they appear like this row in row. They appear in row on a desktop screen, but on a mobile they normally appear like stacked on top
Grid.
of each other. Column,
Yeah.
yes. So this is like an application of all these things for responsive design. So since it's like just like this, when I was using it for the nav bar, do you understand? It's the same thing. All these things that spread out in row, they will not be like that when you're using your mobile. You stack them maybe probably on each other. So these are the things I'm happy that we're able to take one practical example on these cards and then this nav bar. So but don't worry, even if you don't know, you don't see how it comes to play. By the time you see your assignment, your eye will open to see the real life. It's going to be like a full page. It's really a complete landing page. So just don't worry yourself. By the time it land, you open it, you will see it.
Sorry,
And
to add to
keep
that, I
working.
think another practical example is when you visit e-commerce websites where they display their commodities, where you can select what you want to buy. You see different selection of commodities. I think that's another application.
Yeah. How it appears on desktop and your phone. Exactly when you say you open Jumia now, I want to shop. If you're maybe on your phone now, you may be seeing the column, you maybe see 2 or 3 columns. But on your desktop, if you open it now, it will be like 5 because the screen is larger. I don't know whether you're getting what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So
I do. I do.
yeah, if you just play with, go around, go to Facebook, open Facebook on your phone, your desktop, look at website. Yeah, a developer now, so you have to, you know, act like
I have a question.
okay.
Aside Flex and Grid, do you have other responsive designs?
We you can use float, but float is outdated. You can use
Okay.
inline grid. You can use inline grid. This thing now, this navbar now, for this second div now, could have used inline grid. I can also use block. Inline grid and block. I can use inline grid and block. It's just that time. It involve a lot of padding, margin, many things. But Flex
All
now
right.
cover all those things. You can use a block instead of this Flex I used. I can use inline grid. Then for mobile, I will now use block. Block, you know what block? Block will stack everything on each other. It's the same thing
Yeah,
as
yeah.
column. Yeah, Flex direction code. So it's just that I'll have to do some touching, confusion everywhere. So that's just
Uh,
it.
my last question, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, this is more of a professional question, not really a practical, technical question.
Uh-huh.
At what point do we start shooting shots for, let's say, internship or something like as a developer? At what point?
There's no point though. You can start though if you have one project, no matter how little. You can start sending cold emails on LinkedIn. Everything just depends on individual, how you see what you project for yourself and what you want to make out of life. Some of us will be thinking you may some of okay, people will think, let me wait till I'm very good. And that you're very good may never come because there's something we call imposter syndrome. To keep telling you you're never good enough. Start. Your opportunity, see somebody, they tell you, I need a job. Oh, I try. I know say please, if you don't know what to do, I beg, no go disgrace yourself. But as a developer, you're not supposed to be put in any tight corner. Why? You have a community, you have this community, you have Genesis community. So you can even say, you can suggest, you can start from, see, there are many ways. There are many ways. You can say, in your church does not have a site. You go and build something small for them. Don't go and build nonsense. I don't know for you. But any something you can just maybe an organization or your portfolio, something like that. You can just be volunteering. That's internship. You may be looking for a paid internship. It may not come, but you can just volunteer. You'll be doing some free jobs for people since you are still starting out. Just the aim is for people to get to know you. Very soon, somebody will just say, there's one guy that did for us. How is that guy that did for us free? Let him come and do that. That's it. Some people is by volunteering, coming down, bringing yourself down to do things for people, do free jobs for people. I know say you should go and to go every time you do free jobs, no, but you use your head. Sometimes you may have to sell yourself, tell people, post, be building and posting on your social media platforms. Let people know that the latest software developer is in town. So there are different ways just for you to be creative about your own way. That's just it.
All right.
After this training, what are you waiting for? Why won't you start applying? So you can start. What are you waiting for?
Thank you.
Excuse
Because
me,
all
ma.
this,
Can we actually work without the back end?
if you're building landing pages, but you don't need back end for anything.
Just landing
Uh,
pages.
yes, you don't need back. And even if you there's a need for a company for you to do the front end, you just do your own part. Back end will do their own part. Okay, but that's why you need to learn, the structure of front end so that it's easy for the back end people, so for the back end person to do his own thing, and that's just it. So this is what I wanted to say now. Yeah, I don't remember it too. What do I want to say, sef? Hmm. So you just have to keep pushing yourself, keep being excellent, and keep showing yourself. Don't say, I've shown myself too much. Like somebody that is selling in the market. Person will say, I've come Monday, Tuesday. Let me leave Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Since I did not sell. You continue to sell every day because no one knows the hour the client or the customer with 1 million naira, they'll come and buy all of those coupon. So that's the same thing. The just like, hey, remember what I said? Honestly, thank God. All these assignments, projects that we're building, or you add them your GitHub, you add them to your portfolio, you use that apply for internships. I know that people will be trained on how to CV and all those things. So don't wait. There's nobody now. Even those people that are looking at as big, and some of them they don't even know how to center divu. I'm telling you the practicality of life. They don't know. Some of them for sometimes like you haven't here some things I will not remember, and then somebody will remind me. So is how that's how you can't know everything. So they use the little you know to do something. The market is getting very saturated. So look how you stand out. It's very, very important. Not like this Hilda girl be breaking the record. There are cooks, everybody's cooking. Now she did something different and she has made herself. She may not even be the most fantastic cook on the earth, but she has separated herself, made things different for herself. So that's what I'm encouraging everybody to do. Think creatively. So thank you. I think no more questions, right?
Not for now.
Yeah, I don't
So
think
not
we'll be
for
taking any more
Thank you.
questions.
Thank
Let's
you.
add
Thank
our
you.
time to so more.
yeah. So I'll be handing over to our host. So if he maybe a conclusion of everything, and that's just it.
All right. Thank you very much, Amarachi. Thank you so much for handling today's session. So I just briefly
Yeah.
want to say something, which is as regards the link I shared about filling in our details. So for those that like I said yesterday, so the link for tax 4 is already open. So please let's all do well to submit it as soon as possible. And if you have submitted, please, I share the link in Discord. Go to the Discord channel, click on the link, and fill in your name and your phone number. So your name, your phone number, and your email address, please. Also, if you submit the assignment still, please do the same. So that's all I want to say now concerning this. So thank you all for coming. I know that it's difficult. It's always difficult for us to do this on weekdays because normally I have weekend set out for this. So I'm really grateful, although I know it's stressful to everybody. So thank you all. See you all in our next session, which is going to be on the weekend. Thank you and bye-bye. Good night, everybody. Good night.